Sherwood, and I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech on why factory farming should be stopped. So when you go to the grocery store, do you really think about the meat that you're picking up or how it got there? Do you really think of what the animals had to go through to get there at that point? Nearly 10 billion farm animals each year die, either for it to be for meat or for eggs or for dairy. That is a huge number. 39 million cattle, 120 million pigs, and 9.5 million chickens are being killed for meat, and that was stated by the beeffusa.org. Not very many people think about what factory farming is, or they don't even know what factory farming is, and how it is affecting our lives as well as our environment. So what is going on in these industries, what they don't know is it should be stopped. It's not very healthy. So first off, what is factory farming? Factory farming is an industry operation that raises tons of animals in one unit, and it's for meat production as well as dairy and eggs. Almost 99% of farm animals in the United States are held in these factory farms, and they are held in not very good living conditions. They don't have very much fresh air because there are so many of them packed in there that they don't get very much ventilation. And also sometimes they don't even get to see light. Most of the time they don't see sunlight, and sometimes even they don't even have light in the industry at all. And they spend their lives in these open warehouse floors. They don't really get to go experience anything else but that. And this can cause very poor mental distress and physical distress. And when the animal first gets to the feedlot, it is most likely a baby, and its life changes. It will never see green grass, it will never see the sunlight, and the feedlot is just a huge city of all these animals in together, whether it be cows or pigs or chickens, or even sometimes they have fish farm industries. And the animals are grown in very unnatural ways. They're given a ton of steroids and a ton of antibodies to keep them from not getting sick. And once they reach this quota weight from the steroids, then they are turned in to get slaughtered. And frequently the rapid growth from the steroids causes their bones to break, most likely in chickens, but their body is growing so rapidly that their bones aren't growing along at the same rate, and so their bones can break as well. And it causes excruciating pain. Sometimes also breeding, it can be a huge issue. And for instance, for when a sow is pregnant, she gets contained in this crate. And in this crate, she's not given any area to move around. She just has to lay there on her side. She can't turn around, can't walk, can't stand. She just has to sit there. And they have these slots in these crates, and this is where their waste gets dumped into. But oftentimes the waste just sits right underneath them, and so they're constantly breathing their own waste, and there's not very much ventilation, so they don't get fresh air, and this can cause ammonia to get into their respiratory systems, and then they have respiratory problems. And once the pig has their piglets, then they're turned into another crate. And this crate allows the piglets to be fed by their mother, but the mother can't turn around, can't move, can't see their piglets, and it causes a lot of distress. And at the point of time when the animals reach their quota weight, then they are sent in to be slaughtered to make meat. And oftentimes they're still babies at this time because they have gotten so many steroids that they're growing so fast that they're still babies. Chickens oftentimes are only the age of 42 days old when they're getting slaughtered, and that's they're about the same size as a normal chicken would be under normal farming conditions, but instead they're still babies. And ABC Net had a pretty gruesome analogy, and it stated that when, for instance, if a human baby, if they weighed 6 pounds when they were born, and they were living under the same conditions with steroids and antibodies, the same as those in the factory farms, then within 18 months, they would weigh over 500 pounds. That is under 2 years old, and they're weighing 500 pounds. That is very unnatural and very unhealthy. So what is it saying about these animals? It's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for this country. And also, from these factory farms, the environment and human health is being damaged. And the way that it's being damaged, it was said from the United Nations, and it's becoming a part of global warming. The communities that live near factory farms are often getting from the drainage, they're getting their water. It's not very clean, it's not pure, and it pollutes their land and their air, as well as their water. And it compromises human health, and it's not very healthy for us. And also, if the industry is not kept clean, then a lot of the animals can get sick. And when the animals get sick, then they can harbor diseases and bacteria, and once that gets into the animals, there's no way from stopping it to getting to humans if they eat those animals as a meat source. And so what they do in the factory farms to try and prevent this is they give them antibiotics to try and get them to get rid of those bacteria and the viruses that they're spreading throughout. And the bacteria is actually becoming more immune to those, and so it's not stopping from getting to the humans. If it gets to the humans and they're given an antibiotic, there's no way to stop it because they're already immune to the antibiotics. And so it's greatly affecting humans and not just the animals. So why do we need to get rid of factory farming? These factory farms are often advertised as, the cow goes out in the green field and gets to graze on all this grass, but that's really not how it is. They are kept into this big area with thousands of other cows, and oftentimes they can't even move around. They can't walk around. They're just stuck in place to just sit there and eat and try to get to that quota weight really fast that they want, so then they can have more meat production. These industries, they have terrible conditions. There's unclean air. They don't have very much lighting. It's very unnatural growth. It is way too fast for a normal animal to be growing at that rate. And these industries are, like I said, they're breeding grounds for viruses and bacteria. And this gets through maybe even the workers that are there, and then it goes to their families, and then their families go out in the community and they can spread it throughout everybody that they come in contact with. And so this can spread very fast, and it's not good for our communities as well as our country. And Jane Goodall states, farm animals feel pleasure and sadness, excitement and resentment, depression, fear, and pain. They are far more aware and intelligent than we ever imagined. They are individuals of their own right. So these animals, they do feel pain. They feel what actual humans feel, and we're putting them through this. They are in absolute unnatural conditions. So why should we be doing this? Why are we doing this to these animals? It's not a good thing for our country. It's torturing the animals, and it's causing humans to have a lot of sickness, and as well as the environment. It's damaging our environment. And so the next time you enter the grocery store again, I hope you try and find a credible source that you're getting your meat from. And this alone will be enough to advocate against those industries, and maybe they'll understand, maybe we shouldn't be having those kind of conditions for these animals. And so I just hope you think of that the next time you go into the store.